안녕하세요. 토크살롱 시청자 여러분, 서울 스피커스 뷰로의 알렉스입니다. 최근 우리 생활 곳곳에 그리고 산업 곳곳에서 인공지능이 접목된 사례들을 많이 볼 수 있는데요. 웨어러블 디바이스도 그렇고 디지털 치료자 분야에서도 놀라운 성과들을 보이고 있는데요. 이제 더 나아가 바이오와 메디컬, 즉 질병의 치료에도 본격적인 성과가 나오고 있습니다. 세계적인 제약회사들도 이 길고 지루하며 특히 인간의 질병 퇴치라는 인류 최대의 미션에 있어서 낮은 성공률, 안전성 확보라는 이 험난한 과정에 인공지능을 접목하여 놀라운 성과들을 보이고 있는데요. 오늘 이 시간에는 세계적인 AI 기반 신약 개발 기업인 인실리코 메디슨의 알렉스 자브론코프 박사님을 모셨습니다. 자, 그럼 박사님께 AI와 신약 개발에 대한 방향과 비전에 대한 이야기를 한번 들어보도록 할까요? Hello, Alex Zhavoronkov.
Hello, great to be here with you.
Dr. Alex Zhavoronkov, could you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to Korea this time?
My name is Alex Zhavoronkov, and I'm the founder and CEO of Insilico Medicine. My background is in computer science, originally in semiconductors. Made some money in semiconductors and transitioned into biotechnology to study aging. So I did my graduate work originally at Johns Hopkins in biotech and worked for a number of biotechnology companies, started in Silico at the dawn of the deep learning revolution. And what brings me to Korea is the Bio Korea. I was invited to be a keynote at this event and present our work in generative AI for drug discovery and longevity. And I was very, very happy to see some of the members of government working in the Korean FDA, so to speak.
I know that you are interested in the longevity and disease. So in your speeches today, you also mentioned that the many anti-aging researchers' efforts are still at do what your mother told you, TWMT stage, right? So what is the biggest obstacles to developing and commercializing the clinically validated anti-aging therapies for the health people? And how can this be overcome?
You're absolutely right. So over the past 25 years, there's been many advances in longevity biotechnology, so to speak. But most of those advances that are tangible and credible advances were on the diagnostic side and on lifestyle management and optimization side. So do what your mother told you. Basically, eat, sleep, diet, get diagnosis. Really tangible progress in aging biomarkers. So now we know how to track aging. However, when it comes to drugs, even developing a drug for a disease like diabetes or for a biological condition such as obesity, it takes decades. If you look at some of the front runners, like for example GLP-1, Ozempic and Mounjaro, nowadays those are blockbuster drugs driving tens of billions of dollars. But you know when GLP-1 was discovered? Early 1980s. Oh. Yes, so it is a more than 40-year-old story. And the first drugs appeared in the early 2000s. So it's 25 years to market. It is a very long journey, and you need to demonstrate very high level of safety. So you need to make sure that the drug is extremely safe. In order for you to take the drug even for obesity, if it's an oral small molecule inhibitor, like a pill, not an injectable, needs to be even more safe. And we recently saw that Pfizer failed in a phase 3 clinical study with a GLP-1 inhibitor that they were developing for a very long time, just because of one patient out of 1.4 thousand. So in order for you to develop a drug, you need to make sure that it's safe and effective. Efficacy is very difficult to achieve in longevity because there are no good models except for humans to test those drugs on. I think that for any biological condition, again like obesity, it would take at least a decade, even if you have magical AI. So over the past 25 years, many companies tried to develop a longevity drug. Unfortunately, everything failed. Just because it takes a very long time, a lot of money, and the probability of success is very low. So you need to try many times over.
I'd like to say about AI as well. So what are some of the concrete examples of the AI significantly reduce the time and improve the success of the rate of the drug discovery? Because you mentioned that Insilico Medicine has drastically shortened the timeline from the candidate identification to the clinical trial using AI. So could you share some specific cases where this impact were most clearly demonstrated?
Absolutely. So I think that one of the problems that our industry has is lack of benchmarks. In text, in video, in voice, there are always benchmarks where we can compare the currently best performing model to human performance or to traditional approaches. We can develop better and better models. In drug discovery, we have some understanding of what it takes and how long it takes and how much it costs to get from A, so basically zero, to clinical candidate, before that preclinical candidate, and then to phase 2 complete, to phase 3 complete, and to market. We know that the journey from zero to approval usually takes over 12 years. Using a traditional approach. Usually about 4.5 years to 5 years is spent in early stage drug discovery. So what Insilico has done so far, and we've demonstrated our own benchmarks, is that from zero, from the project start to developmental candidate, we can, on our typical time is about 13 months, over 22 programs. So we have taken 22 programs to preclinical candidate. 10 of them reached clinical stage, 1 completed phase 2A. So what used to take 4.5 to 5 years now takes about 13 months. That is not only thanks to AI, it's also thanks to operational efficiency. In order for your AI to work well and to demonstrate continuous reduction in time and cost, you also need to demonstrate that you can very quickly synthesize, test, do all the preclinical work. So that is why in Insilico, in addition to AI, we have automation. So we have massive automated lab that allows us to very rapidly perform many experiments. And we also distribute the workload to many contract research organizations. They can perform experiments in multiple therapeutic areas. So it is the combination of AI and operational efficiency. And I think that we are still scratching the surface. So it's not only about reducing time or cost, it's also increasing the probability of success.
So how does the Insilico Medicine address the ethical and the safety concerns surrounding AI, in especially the drug development? So given that AI is directly involved in the developing treatments that affect human lives, so the concerns surrounding the ethics and the safety are inevitable. How the Insilico ensuring the transparency, reliability, and ethical integrity in its AI-driven processes?
Sure. So I think it's not only about ethics. It's about general drug discovery and development paradigm. So within the traditional pharmaceutical drug discovery and development approach, regardless of how you discovered the drug, it doesn't matter AI or human, or you had an inspiration at night, or randomly stumbled on a solution, you have to perform many preclinical and then clinical trials. The regulations are there for a reason, and our ultimate authority is the US FDA. So in order for us to be able to get the drug to patients, we actually need to go through the same process as everybody else. And there are many charlatans, so to speak, or used to be more charlatans, trying to come out with hypothetical drug treatments that were actually harming patients. That is why governments introduced regulation. And in our case, we are just as regulated as a traditional biotechnology company. So having said that, I actually think that AI helps you develop the drugs that are much safer than traditional approaches, because it allows you to do multi-parameter optimization for a small molecule and a target. So you can optimize for many more parameters than random search. It's kind of, think about it as looking for a needle in a haystack. You can either go through many pieces of hay and try to find something that looks like a needle, or you can make many perfect needles and take the perfect one for your task. Or think of it as lock and key problem. So you can try many random keys for your lock, or you can design a perfect one that fits and does its job. So AI is much better at creating greater and better small molecules and biologics than humans do. I actually think that it's probably unethical right now not to use AI for those tasks, because now we've demonstrated that the probability of success at the preclinical level is just vastly superior to traditional approaches. I also think that it's extremely important to be transparent. So the way we are approaching this is we try to publish as much as possible in academic peer-reviewed journals. So even small steps are published in peer-reviewed literature where other academics and your competing AI companies are actually reviewing your work, and they try to find flaws. Sometimes it takes 1 year to publish a paper, and we still do that. And we try to go after specialized journals like Nature Biotechnology, Nature Medicine, Nature Communications, Journal of Medicinal Chemistry, and now we're publishing sometimes 2 papers a week. Yes, so just some journalists cannot publish, just basic news at this rate. But when you have a very large working ecosystem of scientists, you naturally publish a lot. So we try to make it maximally transparent.
I just wondered, what are your impressions of Korea biotech ecosystem, and what potential do you see for collaboration? Because I've heard that you have some of the engagement of the Korean companies. So now you spoke about BioKorea and experienced the events and probably had a meeting with the Korean companies. Are there any specific areas where the Insilico Medicine sees some kind of potential for the collaboration of Korea companies or the institutions?
Sure. So first of all, many industries in Korea are miraculous to me. Korea has performed many miracles in semiconductors and cell phones and cars, in hospitality and services. Many of the Korean brands are household brands around the world. Pharma is getting there. So what we see is that Korean pharmaceutical companies are still young, but they have global ambitions. And that is very encouraging. We definitely see the growing trend. Korean pharmaceutical companies now take a little bit higher risk than some of their US counterparts, which is a good thing. So because in order for them to be globally competitive, they need to innovate at a higher scale than more traditional established pharmas. So that's why they're going after more novel targets, more novel molecules, and even more innovative therapeutic modalities. Very impressed with the field. Many of the companies here use our AI. So we made it very, very easy to partner with us because you can basically buy our AI as software, and many of them do. It's as easy as putting it on a credit card, but maybe not as easy. You still have to do the partnership materials in our industry. What we are looking for here now is maybe potentially even partnering around some of the early stage preclinical or early stage clinical assets, because again, some of the Korean pharmaceutical companies do have global ambitions. However, of course, the market is much, much smaller than that of Japan or, of course, the US and Europe. But again, the fact that Korea became a very solid player on a global map, it's a huge achievement, because that is the ultimate pinnacle of human development.
Thank you for having your time with us today. I really am looking forward to having you again in Korea with a wonderful event again. 세계는 지금 인공지능과 바이오 기술의 결합으로 새로운 의료의 시대를 준비하고 있습니다. 생명을 연장하고 질병을 예측하며 치료법을 혁신하는 기술들, 그 중심엔 바로 사람을 위한 기술이라는 관점이 필요한 거죠. 오늘 알렉스 자보론코프 박사님과의 대화는 단순히 기술을 넘어서 우리가 왜 이 길을 가야 되는지에 대한 질문을 던져주는 것 같습니다. 오늘 이 대화가 여러분의 선택에 작은 영감이 되기를 기원합니다. 그럼 저희는 또 다른 이야기로 찾아올게요. 안녕.